Now, I think it's very, very important to have the undergirding of some kind of, we found that different things that our house churches, as we used to call them, and CRC through the years have done, that what we formed as a community and with our own depth that we had developed made a big difference in the way we did everything else and anything we affected. I don't know if you're familiar with Starhawk. She's a Jewish woman that's now a goddess practice and does a whole lot of activities, social protest kind of stuff around the world in Israel for the Palestinians, even though she's dangerous kind of stuff. She's just everywhere. She's also teaches permaculture, she's an ecologist. But she's one of the few people that I'm aware of that her activism, who's really an activist, has such depth to it that it just transforms what happens there. Like when they're facing soldiers, sometimes she will talk to them and try to count in their language. They'll have this real tense situation and she'll start trying to count in their language and they'll start helping her. And it ends up everybody's laughing and it breaks the tension. Just things like that it's from her spirit depth that she's able to do that. I don't think I have the energy or the capacity to do protest kind of stuff, but I think there are people that can and do it well because of that. I think a lot of social activism is probably better for people to go do some work on their spirit before they do.
And certainly, Gene, your role politically as chair of the Democratic Party for the local county.
I've just finished my term as the Democratic chair of the party.
Yeah, that's
but it's an illustration of what you're talking about. And there's our little group of 9 people have just, without even thinking, circle of 9 people, without even thinking about it, done things in our parish, if you like. Several of us, not just me, have been in the Democratic Party and made transformative things happen there. Another little group of us have been organized a group called CORE, which has to do with ecology, and they've assisted in shutting down an old coal-powered power plant. All of us in our CRC have been bioregionalists, and we've created a form of bioregionalism for Texas, or at least for this part of Texas, that has a spiritual depth to it that other parts might not have. But bioregionalism always has been a cultural or spiritual movement in its way, and that's why we've been excited about it. So I've been thinking, one thing that's true is just each little CRC, if it really succeeds in accessing their own spirit depth, are going to take that out into various kinds of ministries and are going to take that spirit quality there. Then there's another thing that I think is more complicated to understand, but the more intellectual and socially reader components of your CRC network are going to put together social mission statements or something. Where some of us are already writing a book called The Road from Empire to Eco-Democracy. Well, what this is really saying, that out of our spirit place, democracy is a key, absolutely key theme for imaging the future. That ecology is an absolutely key theme for imaging the future. There cannot be a vibrant, vital human presence on the first surface of this planet without a democracy and ecology. And that goes on and on and on. So building these kind of ethics, books of ethics or statements of ethics and ways of getting from here to there, that kind of social thought and action will come out of these networks, and it will have a different quality. And we'll also notice that the same kinds of things come out of good Buddhism. So the good Buddhists and the good Christians and the good Jews, good in the sense of spirit level, work together in an ecumenical parish or an interfaith parish in doing these tasks, so that we're not, as Christians, actually going to save the world in a sociological sense. We're going to save the world in conjunction with many different people coming from many different places, but we're going to notice what's coming out of the spirit depth and what isn't, and fight for that as we build this hopefully successful new world.
I think everybody that asked that question, they wouldn't ask it if they didn't realize there's something to their lives that is deeper than the job, making a living, buying clothes, just the ordinary run of the things, that they want something that is more real, that is deep in their lives. They realize, and I guess I would say, we all realize at some level that life is mysterious. We don't know for sure how we got here. We know we're going to leave, and we don't know when. And in my understanding of spirit, a lot of it has to do with making decisions around that, how I relate to that fact that I don't control ultimately the big things that happen to me in life. And a person, to me, that is spiritual is someone who's decided that I will trust, have trust in this mysterious aspect of life that brings my life and takes it away, causes me to age and suffer ill health and losses and other things, as well as great joy. The choice to live it in trust is to live in a kind of spirit depth.
One of the great things that Joe Matthews did for me was get me started on a comprehensive answer to that question. His first way of getting me started was with the contemplation, meditation, contemplation, and prayer talks, which were also poverty, chastity, and obedience, transparent knowing, transparent being, and transparent doing. These talks were on many states of being, all of which were the answer to the question spirit. And then he sort of erased the board and did the mountain of, the land of mystery, the river of consciousness, the mountain of care, and the sea of tranquility. Again, 64 answers to your question, what is spirit? And when I began doing systematic answering of that question, I started with the what they call the other world charts of mountain of care, river of consciousness, and so forth, and put those various states of being into relationship to what I was doing, and I found I like the model I'm working with now that answers that question, and it can all boil down to these three words: trust, love, and freedom. And so when someone says, what's spirit? Well, it's trust, love, and freedom. Well, what's trust, love, and freedom? Well, and I have this broken down to infinity. So I can give as long a talk as you want on that subject.
You could even write a book on that subject.
Several.
Yeah.
But Joyce's, what she says, is a better answer because it's more direct to the point. But I think people recognize that spirit, or another thing you could say about spirit is those who say don't know, and those who know don't say. Because really, your spirit is unspeakable. A person cannot understand at all what you're talking about unless they are experiencing it. Because the words are just words flying around. But if these words are used in such a way as that it occasions in the other person their own experience of that same thing, then they can say, aha, the spirit is then a direct experience on the interior rather than just an answer to some questions out here abstractly. So
I love Paul Tillich's sermon on that. I think it was the spiritual, was it the spiritual presence, the spirit, or something, the presence of spirit, maybe that was it. And he indicated that everybody experiences spirit. Everybody has this spirit, and everybody is capable of helping other people at different times. That we do help one another in that dimension. But it was just so wonderful. I just love the guy because he's so wonderfully encouraging of what is truly there with you already. We all have that. And so I guess if I were remembering my Tillich, if someone asked me, I would just say, you have that already. And you're asking me this question helps remind me. Keep walking. I had a friend who's having a hard time walking these days, and his doctor told him to walk 5 minutes every day, and I don't know, just a word of encouragement.
Keep walking.
Keep searching, keep seeking, follow your intuition. Everybody, I think, has at moments, if they just stop for a moment, or feeling themselves being drawn to something of depth, and just follow those, trust them and follow them and risk.
I think my word, to a lot of my old colleagues whom I worked with for years, is don't give up on renewing Christianity. There's the danger in giving up on it is giving up your spirit being, because wrestling with your spirit being in some other language isn't actually any easier. Buddhist language is just as difficult because the difficulty has nothing to do with the language. So it's just as easy to be an authentic Christian as it is to be an authentic anything. So here we've, as an order and as a history of that we're working with here, had a lot of experience with Christian renewal. There's no need to give it up. Some of us need to just go ahead and finish it.